This is N332.
Hello and welcome to the first of our summer updates from N332 for the summer of 2026. How is the world treating you? It's been rather hot, I think is the general opinion, and hotter and longer than usual. And that has had an impact on the road situation. It's also had an impact on the environmental situation. This weekend is the first busy weekend. Yes, we've not even got to the busiest bit yet. This weekend is the first busy weekend on the roads of Spain. Riley will be here very shortly to give us the details about that. But before we get into the specifics of the weekend, I just wanted to talk a little bit about some of the myths, shall we say, that float around at this time of year. We have been dealing with lots of the summer issues, and we've had lots of articles about things like taking a break, planning your journey, looking out for the weather, wildfires, etc. We do that every year around about summer, and this year is no exception. You can find all of the articles on the website, n332.es, of course, and also via Facebook. But there are also the myths that float around. So I just want to talk a little bit about those, just to clear up any confusion. The first one, which always does the rounds, is the question of flip-flops. Is it legal to drive in flip-flops? Well, the answer is not quite as easy as yes or no, because technically there is no law that says you must not drive in flip-flops. So technically it's not illegal to drive in flip-flops. However, there is a law that says you must be in full control of your vehicle at all times. So if you're not in control, for example, if you're speeding or fail to stop at a stop sign or in a collision, then clearly you're not in control of the vehicle. So the flip-flops can be a contributing factor to that. They are also extremely dangerous, especially when you've been on the beach and you've got sand between your skin and the flip-flops, and they slip off easily. They can easily get wedged behind the pedals. They can cause all kinds of problems. So they are actually quite dangerous. You should wear proper fitting shoes when driving. But there is no specific law to say that you can't drive in flip-flops, but you really should not, because honestly, they are not a good idea at all. Always wear appropriate footwear when driving. Another one is about t-shirts. Can you drive topless? Well, again, there's no specific law that says you can't drive topless. However, it is extremely dangerous again, because in the event of harsh braking or a collision, you will be injured because a seatbelt will chafe your skin badly. Glass can cut your skin, so it is extremely dangerous. So whereas there's no specific law, it's really not a good idea. Let me put both of those into context for a moment. There is no specific law that says you must not drive at 100 kilometers an hour into a brick wall. But of course you wouldn't do that because it's extremely dangerous. But the law doesn't say don't do that. So it's the same thing. There is no specific law that says you can't drive in flip-flops, nor is there a specific law that says you can't drive topless. They're just both really not good ideas, because they are dangerous. And just take that context on board. There is no law that says do not drive into a brick wall at 100 kilometers an hour, but you wouldn't do it. So please don't wear flip-flops, don't drive topless, wear appropriate clothing at all times. I've got a couple more I want to talk about in a second. Namely, drinking, as in water, not alcohol. We cover alcohol quite a lot. I might mention that in a moment as well, but drinking water when you're driving, and also pets left in cars. So I'm going to talk about those in a second. But before we do that, I'm going to hand over to Riley to give us the details of this weekend's traffic forecast, because throughout the summer, the DGT, the Director General of Traffic, has 4 phases of the summer operation. We've already had the first one, but it's not really that significant, the first one, because it's the quieter of the four, I should say. This weekend is the first busy one, and then they're sort of spaced every 2 weeks. So in 2 weeks' time, we'll get the second busy one, which is kind of like the middle of the holidays, because generally speaking, people go on holiday for 2 weeks. So this weekend, we'll see the first big wave of inland domestic tourists coming towards the coast and the mountain areas. And then in 2 weeks, they go back, and the next batch of people come. And then 2 weeks after that, everybody goes back. That's kind of like the general opinion. That's how it sort of happens. Yes, it changes a little bit, but that's the general focus. Times to avoid, generally speaking, are on Friday in the afternoon from about 3 o'clock until midnight, Saturday from 8 in the morning till 3, and then Sunday from 3 until midnight. So they're the times to really avoid, because they're going to be the busiest times. Riley's going to tell us more about this coming weekend, because there's also a couple of events taking place which will also affect the roads in certain places. So I'll hand over to Riley now, and then I'll be back in a second with those other little mythbusters. Riley, over to you.
Thank you, Mark. This is Riley, and this is your latest N332 travel update for Spain for the weekend of the 1st of August. We have got a massive summer weekend ahead on the roads, with the Dirección General de Tráfico launching their special operation August 1st. If you are heading out, here is what you need to know to avoid getting stuck in the jams. Starting with the roads on Friday, July 31st, the big getaway begins. Expect very heavy traffic, leaving major urban centers from early afternoon, with congestion building on routes leading to the coasts, mountain areas, and holiday spots. The trickiest period to be on the road on Friday will be from 3 p.m. right through until midnight. Moving on to Saturday, August 1st, the exodus continues. Early morning traffic will be thick on highways heading towards the beach and camping grounds. Special traffic management lanes will be installed to help clear the major bottlenecks. The busiest hours on Saturday will be between 8 a.m. and 3 p.m., so planning your journey around those times is a very wise move. Widening out to Sunday, August 2nd, morning traffic will be busy around coastal towns and local beach access roads. Then, from early afternoon, the main return phase kicks off as everyone heads home. Traffic controls will be active on entry routes to major cities, and the most congested window will run from 3 p.m. until midnight, when the special operation officially wraps up. Now, for local event traffic, if you are driving anywhere near the Alicante and Torrevieja area, expect extra traffic due to the Low Festival running all weekend. Up the coast in Castellón, the Arenal Sound Festival in Burriana and the Som Festival in Castellón City will also bring increased traffic and local delays. Now for the driving weather and safety advice. With intense high summer heat and the ongoing risk of wildfires across Spain, please double-check your route before setting off using official channels from the DGT. Always keep fresh water in the vehicle, check your tires and coolant levels, take regular breaks, and ensure your connected V16 warning light is easily accessible in the car. That covers our road breakdown for this weekend, so I will hand back over to you now, Mark.
Thank you, Riley. And if you do want the details, they are on the website, of course, n332.es. So if you're not being able to remember those key times or what's going on, you can find them on the website. But always check the DGT official information before you travel, especially because of the closures of wildfires at the moment, and weather can change in a heartbeat. So always check before you travel. Now, I did say I'm going to talk about two more little myths. One of them is drinking, and we're not talking about alcohol. Please don't drink and drive. Don't consume drugs and drive. The only safe limit is 0 when it comes to alcohol or drugs. So just don't do it. But that's not what I'm going to talk about now, because there is a kind of story going around that if you drink water when you're driving, you'll be fined €200, etc. Now, again, technically that's true because it is a distraction. And it does mean you're not in full control of the vehicle, as we mentioned before when we were talking about shoes. But also you have to stay hydrated. So if, for example, your passenger hands you a little bottle of water for you to take a sip out of, nobody's going to fine you for that. That's not going to be a problem. The problem occurs when you're perhaps trying to open a big bottle of water yourself and you have to take 2 hands off the steering wheel to unscrew it, and then you're sort of tipping your head back so you can't see the roads. That's when the problems occur. It's common sense, really. If someone just hands you a bottle of water and say, here, just have a little sip of that, nobody's going to fine you, because it's not really that big an issue. Keep your eyes on the road. You've got your hands on a steering wheel. Yes, you're using one hand to drink the water, but it's only brief. So don't worry too much. Stay hydrated. Just be sensible about it. And then the final thing I just want to mention is about animals left in cars. And when it comes to animals left in cars, we also these days have to include children more and more as well, because sadly children get left behind in cars as well, sometimes intentionally, sometimes unintentionally. But the problem that we have when it comes to leaving animals in cars, and believe me, I completely get this because it's extremely distressing. But the problem that we have is some people say that if you see a dog in distress, you can break the windows of the car and you can release the dog. That is not true. You and I, we are not allowed to break the glass on a vehicle like that. We can find ourselves in a lot of trouble if we do so. So again, it's a myth that goes around that if a dog's in distress, you can do that. You cannot, unfortunately. All that you can do is summon the emergency services to handle it. So you can dial 112, the emergency call center, which handles calls in most languages, including English, and explain to them what's going on. Obviously, it's an urgent situation. You can explain that as well, and they will get help to you very, very quickly. But you are not allowed to break the windows of the vehicle yourself. So just summon help very, very quickly. And the other thing I just have to mention on that, of course, if you do have a pet or children or anybody for that matter, just be a little bit cautious and don't leave them in the car unattended. Try not to forget them, because it is easily done, but it's really, really, really not a good idea. In this heat as well, it's even worse. So please, please just don't do it. More information about summer driving in Spain is available on the website n332.es, which includes the weekend overview for this weekend, the first major operation. And also, just to look ahead, when I said the next operation is in about 2 weeks' time, that also coincides with the 15th of August, which is another holiday. So that is going to be realistically probably the busiest of them all in 2 weeks' time. But this one is going to be particularly busy as well. The shops are busy, the roads are busy, everywhere's busy. Just be patient wherever you are. Bear in mind, a lot of drivers on the roads are not used to this area. Many of them are not used to the roads of Spain. Just be patient. Give a little bit of space. Take extra time. We've all got a right to be there, and we've all got somewhere to go, but just take it easy, just relax and be safe.
This is N332.